It's January 3rd, 2021, and I hit an important milestone on my YouTube channel. I got my 1,000th subscriber today. I thought I'd use this opportunity to talk about how I started getting involved with YouTube. I began in 2009. I was working on my PhD at the time. I had gone to a thrift store and found a camera. I believe it was the Flip brand, and I recorded my first video about how to look for copper coins in rolls of coins. At the time, you used to be able to find 15 to 20 copper coins out of every roll on average. Nowadays, you're lucky to find 5 or 6. Just the other day, I was trying to get a souvenir penny flattened, and I went to a cashier and I gave her a dime and I just asked for 10 pennies, thinking I didn't get a single copper coin. I prefer to use copper in the penny pressers, and then I explained to the cashier if she could take a look in her drawer, and there must have been 30 or 40 pennies in the drawer, and only 2 of them were copper. But I got the flattened pennies I wanted, so that was good. But it just brought back a lot of nostalgia of looking for copper. I don't have the time or the space to do that anymore. We used to be able to find 15 to 20 coins out of every 50. It just goes to show of how times have changed. A lot of inflation since the time I was looking. I believe I've seen them being sold for 2 or 3 cents a piece nowadays. To give you an idea, back in 2009, you used to be able to buy wheat pennies, which were also copper, but had some collectible value for about the price that you can buy copper pennies today, from 59 up to 82. Just gives you an idea of how much inflation there has been. Anyway, so that was my first video. The problem is that not long after I recorded that video, I got involved in a relationship with a girl who took advantage of me, and as a result, I was in no mood to make videos. I was actually very ill for some time. See, the girl, she was spending so much of my money, I wasn't eating right. I was living in Rochester, New York, and I would find roadkill, and also I learned how to fish out of Lake Ontario. I was eating fish out of Lake Ontario. But a lot of roadkill: skunks, deer, rabbits, what else? Squirrels, and well, fortunately, now I didn't get to it. But one time, I had a classmate who I was chatting with online, and he exclaimed that a bat had flew into his apartment, and I so badly wanted it, because I was starving to death, and I loved eating all sorts of exotic foods at the time. And my classmate, he had taken a container of some sort and trapped the bat on the wall and let it go. And I was so disappointed he didn't give it to me. I was eating all sorts of weird crap, and I developed very severe fatigue for some reason. And now looking back, it was probably from mercury poisoning from the fish I was eating out of Lake Ontario. I don't think it was from an infectious disease. The good news is that after I broke up with the girl, I was practicing a lot of social distancing because nobody wanted to deal with me after what I had gone through. She was not a very well-to-do girl. It was my first major relationship. I lost my virginity to her, so I really didn't know any good boundaries. And as a result, I almost dropped out of school. Now, the interesting thing is that after I broke up with the girl, on June 13th of 2010, I used to love to go to this coin show. It was held quarterly in Rochester, New York. And I was scared to death because I didn't have a girl to take to that coin show because I had just broken up with my girlfriend 2 weeks before the coin show, and I didn't know how to go to a coin show alone. It's kind of weird looking back now, but it was a really sunny day when I woke up, And I just thought how big of a loss it would be if I didn't at least ride my bicycle to the coin show. It was about a 3 or 4 mile ride. I got to the coin show and I had the best time of my life. And I quickly realized that anything you could do with a girl, you could do without. The only exception probably being to have biological children, right? Even then, there's probably ways around that nowadays. But anything you can do with the girl, you could do without, and usually do it in a much freer way, right? Do it your own way, and that was good. A year after that, June 13th, I celebrate every year now because it was my first solo sexual date. And I find that aside from enjoying being solo sexual, I find it also enhances things when I do date a girl, being that I always have something to fall back on. I never get into this desperate do or die situation like I was with that first girl. There's always a plan B. And I find dating to be a whole lot better enhanced by the fact that I have the solo sexual relationship. I really do. I encourage you to think about that. Now, a year after that, I started writing computer games. I would say it's still my biggest hobby to this day, although I have other hobbies now. And I started recording YouTube videos about how to play some of these games. Shogi, Othello, those are my big ones at the conference. Right now I'm programming Pandemic, obviously, and Ticket to Ride, because I'm kind of missing some of the destinations on those games, so programming that kind of helps. And then I got involved in another relationship, and 2 years ago I was playing chess at a tournament when I met a girl through one of my opponents. Now the problem is that I got very saddened that my time as a single guy was coming to an end, and as a result I got seriously depressed, and I developed major addiction problems. And you may have seen some of my videos last year. I called it my single life grand finale when I was desperately trying to cram everything I wanted to do as a single guy in the last couple of months of my single life. I had taken a couple of trips during that time. I was involved in a number of conferences. I had some drama in my life. And go look that up on my channel, my single life grand finale. I talked about the conflict that I had. Unfortunately, halfway around the world, somebody did get to that bat that I wanted to eat 10 years previously. And as a result, I had to stop seeing my girlfriend. And I really enjoyed my last year away from my girlfriend. I mean, we're still close friends, and we're still encouraging each other during this difficult time. And during this time, I think, is when I gained a lot of subscribers, because I've been recording videos to keep everybody encouraged during this time. I competed in the Computer Olympiad virtually this year. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a flop because there were a lot of software irregularities, and the differences in time zones really threw everybody for a loop. But that's okay. I wrote a number of computer games, and I learned a lot during this time. I kind of have mixed feelings every time something goes right as a result of this pandemic, because obviously it's not really going right for everybody, right? I got to take advantage of the financial markets. I gained a lot of YouTube subscribers. I don't make any money off of my YouTube videos, but it's still very important for me to network with people, especially during this time. And I wrote a number of computer games. I sometimes have to stop and feel sorry that I'm benefiting from the crisis. I would say the crisis has been an overall net positive. I mean, yes, I did lose some connections, but I gained a whole lot more of other connections for me. And sometimes I feel a little bit guilty as a result. Anyways, 1,000 subscribers. I'd like to thank everybody who has made comments on my videos. Some of them have been very insightful. let's take a look at some of my top videos. Well, the fortune-telling video I made, and then a couple videos about games that I'm programming. Unfortunately, YouTube has a tendency nowadays to disable comments on some of my videos because it thinks that it's being geared toward children. I know I've seen that a few times, especially when I make videos talking about the playing games. But usually it's about programming the games. I mean, I would love if somebody, a child, were interested in programming games at the level that I was at, because it's a very lonely activity. I hope that in a few years we'll have more people to compete against. Anyway, thanks for watching.